I've photographed, I'd say 50 years. After I got out of the Navy, I bought a cheap camera in Chicago, 2.5 by 3 speed graphic, old, and I did some on the fly. I just picked it up, studied a little bit from the great photographers, Eisenstedt, and all those big time life photographers. I studied under them through correspondence. They were some tough guys. And you have to practice. You just cannot put a camera around your neck and consider yourself a photographer.
I first heard of Geleve Grice when a friend of mine at the University of Arkansas, Michael DeBricious, returned from a trip to Pine Bluff and called me on the telephone and said, "There's an exhibit of photographs on display on the UAPB campus that you would be interested in." So I went to Pine Bluff and looked at this exhibit and found out that Mr. Grice was not only still living, but still living in Pine Bluff. And so I called him. And if he hadn't been approachable, if he had been standoffish, or he had decided that I wasn't the guy he wanted to talk to, then none of this would have happened. I guess the first thing was that I realized that his total photographic archive has some ballpark figure of 100,000 negatives.
I've always been a general photographer. I try to do a little of all of it. I've done weddings and things like that, children. I travel through the state doing school day pictures, staying on the highway all the time, sleepy. All kinds. I was a general practitioner in photography.
It's clear to me that 90% of those images were taken in southeast Arkansas. 90% of those images portray some aspect of African American life. At a period between 1946 or 7 to about 1990, he was the official sometimes and at other times unofficial photographer for the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. So thousands upon thousands of images reflect the life of the Pine Bluff community, the UAPB community.
I had a wonderful time down there. It was AM and N at that time, but now it's the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. It's a terrific school. You should see it. It's bubbling over. That was a time I took every picture on the campus down there. It just kind of wore me out. One person can't take all the pictures. But that's the way it was.
Obviously, a major event is when a famous person comes to the community from outside. Martin Luther King came to Pine Bluff in 1958 to deliver the commencement address at UAPB. And as campus photographer, he took lots of pictures of that commencement and of Dr. King. King with students, King with admiring parents, King with the president of AM&N. He also, though, got the most revealing single picture of Martin Luther King I've ever seen to capture the kind of indomitability of the man. And he doesn't look unfriendly, but you gather from that picture that this man could not be intimidated. And somehow Grice got that. It's an extraordinary photograph.
It wasn't hard. He was a very nice man. Very nice man, no problem getting in the pose. I spent almost half a day with him. I did one with him and President Davis. Now I've had that picture copyrighted through the Library of Congress. That's the only one I had copyrighted.
So he is at all times recording the significant events in the life of the community at whatever level he's working. The family level, the college, the town. What can these photographs teach people today? They teach us that progress can be made, but that it never comes easy. And that What people like Silas Hunt and Daisy Bates and Harold Flowers and all these other people have done is a tremendous achievement. If there's miles still to go, well, there's reason to believe that those miles can be covered. He had a kind of news photographer's instinct too. When a great photo op presented itself, he would go after it. A good example was there's a photograph of Harry Truman that he took.
President Truman came here years ago, and I had put on my nice coat and shirt and tie and went down to the parade. It was down on Main Street. And I backed up in just the right spot for just a split second when they're walking.
And he gets this shot, and it looks as if Truman's looking right at him and waving at him. There's no single descriptor that works for Grice. He likes to be out there with the camera and get the shot. And then he completes the circuit by sending it to you. So, and that would be my descriptor. He sees it as a social act. So that I think even at the family photography level, we have an appreciation for the power of the photograph to preserve the basic fabric or texture of our lives. So I think that's what he does. I think he sees these photographs as part of an ongoing social interaction. And I think that's why he's particularly good at taking pictures of social interactions.